I love working. I love doing what I do, but I also have kids and they're not kids anymore. You know, having children, it's supposed to be the best time of your life.
So I can honestly tell your audience that meeting you was a life-changing moment for me because we've known each other for several years now. First time I encountered you, I didn't know how successful you were. I didn't understand your production. Even though your reputation very much precedes you in this industry, I don't tend to track other agents in that way. You're either fun to work with on a deal or you're not. And
sometimes I'm not. I mean,
you always are. No, you're fabulous.
You have to give up something to get something, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I feel that helps me be successful in one spot is I don't look at the monetary reward and I do it to do it and hope for good results. How do you put yourself in that place where, let's say you're at your son's baseball game and a customer calls and they want to put an offer on a property. When you're busy and you're feeling overwhelmed with work, what's the one thing that usually happens? A kid starts to talk when you're in the middle of doing that and you're like, I can't do that right now.
Right now. Yeah,
right.
We've all been there.
I don't do that anymore.
That's amazing.
Realizing that I wasn't completely present for them and that eventually they're not going to come and talk to me anymore. Hi everyone, welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. Every week we talk about something that will help you make a little money, maybe save a little money, or maybe just help you navigate this crazy world that we live in. And boy, do we live in a crazy world. And today I decided to do something a little bit different than normal. So today I have Ashley Baillio here from Blue Realty. She is a broker and she runs a magnificent team. So welcome, Ashley.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
So it's very rare that I have another realtor come on my show.
For the purpose of this, I've never sold a house.
But today I had a conversation with you way back, and then we kind of had the conversation again, and I thought that this was really important for our viewers to hear because, you know, being a mom and being in this business, and I'm probably going to cry today because I'm very sensitive about that because I love working. I love doing what I do, but I also have kids and they're not kids anymore. Actually, people say, don't call them kids. They're not kids. They're not billy goats.
They'll always be your kids.
Right? Right. So, you know, having children is, you know, it's supposed to be the best time of your life. Mm-hmm. But I always feel like we are more important than doctors. Like they think that if we don't call them right away, they're going to die. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, like I was just on the phone with a client and he's like, I'm going to lose this one too. I'm like, in this market on a condo? Like,
you're not going to lose this one. We're okay.
Right? But I don't know. It's funny. Like we've been under contract and then, or we go to put an offer and they're like, oh, we already have an offer. Well, stop leaving it active, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that you said to me a couple of weeks ago was you said something about that you were going to be doing something that you had taken off to go be with your son. And I was like, oh, really? That's awesome. And you were like, yeah, because somebody I know told me, you know, that I'm going to regret it later.
Yeah, so I can honestly tell your audience that meeting you was a life-changing moment for me because we've known each other for several years now. Mm-hmm. But the first time I encountered you, I didn't know how successful you were. I didn't understand your production. Even though your reputation very much precedes you in this industry, I don't tend to track other agents in that way. You're either fun to work with on a deal or you're not. And
sometimes I'm not. I mean,
you always are. No, you're fabulous. That was definitely not. Mm-hmm. I wasn't aware of what a big deal you were when you look at the statistics of it all. And once I'd had a conversation with you, I got pulled aside by another agent who felt I wasn't respectful enough of your accomplishments because I treated you like everybody else. Crazy.
No, I like that.
I know, right? Sometimes it's a benefit not to realize that you're talking to the coolest person in the room. Mm-hmm. But I ended up, they pulled me aside and they just really quickly ran down your accomplishments. And at that point, it's no longer a context of, hey, great to meet you at this professional event. It's a, holy smokes, how do you do that? And I think it might have been a vulnerable day for you, or honestly, now that I know you better, it's because you're authentic and you're just honest when people ask you things. And so my question and what was on my heart at the time was, how do you do it? You have children and the numbers you're putting up. I couldn't see 20 accomplished people do what you do. So how do you do it? And at that point, you were like, it costs me everything. Like my kids don't always feel that I attend everything and I'm not always as engaged. And the thrust of it was that you do it, like you kill yourself for your clients. And that level of it makes sense because with what you've accomplished. But then it challenged me to decide really quickly, did I care about the numbers I was putting up, or did I care about just being present with my son? And finding that balance so that you can sleep well at night is really stinking hard. And I'm not saying I figured it out, but I definitely guarantee that you made me think about it.
Yeah, and so you have to give up something to get something, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things that I feel that helps me be successful in one spot is I don't look at the monetary reward, and I do it to do it and hope for good results. Getting paid is obviously a benefit.
It is still a job.
Yeah. But you know, as you're talking and I'm hearing you, I'm thinking to myself, you know what would be really cool is to have somebody to basically tell me, like, not a psych, you know, when they put you under for therapy.
Oh, hypnotherapy?
Thank you, because
Okay.
I've done it before. But obviously it's got to be somebody you trust to put me under and say, you don't want to do all this. Because this is just naturally innate in me. Like, this is who I am.
You do want to do all of this? Is that accurate?
No, I don't want to do all of this.
Then why do you need to be told?
It's just innate that if I commit to you, right?
Yes.
I want to do good for you. So if you're my customer, right?
Yeah.
I want to do what you want, right? So don't you think it's important, right? So how do you put yourself in that place where, let's say you're at your son's baseball game, right?
Yeah.
And a customer calls and they want to put an offer on a property.
So and scale is everything. And because of the conversation with you, I really aggressively started to scale my business. And I have left some money on the table in what I actually keep in my pocket. But my life quality is arguably fantastic. But I feel like it's a bit, I don't do your numbers. Like, I do a very comfortable 10 million a year maybe.
Right.
And at the end of the day,
That's a lot of money.
Well, but I've created passive revenue streams where that's not my only income. So
Chick-fil-A owner over here, everybody.
my marriage is not a passive revenue stream. That is the breadwinner. But
441 and Wiles, everyone, in Coconut Creek.
Yes.
And there's another one, right?
The Deerfield Beach location as well.
Yeah.
I met my husband because I used to dance as a cow. And so worked my way
Not
up.
that kind of dancing, people. But
It was a Chick-fil-A cow. It was not like a, it wasn't the kind of dancing most,
sort of sexy cow.
it wasn't the kind of dancing most realtors do before they get into real estate.
Yeah, okay, well, I know they all tell their guys, yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah, I hear you.
But I learned very quickly that I wanted to scale. So I found another mom with similar limitations, and that's how one of my business partners was essentially born. And I got really good at offloading tasks. So I only ever take 5 clients at a time. And it's not based on monetary value, it's based on capacity. And if I am at the 5 client limit, I'm automatically going to be partnering with a secondary agent on the deal. And depending on what I believe they can add for value is going to determine what split I offer. And I have a list of about 40 agents deep of who I would approach down the line. And I prefer the 9 on my team, but then I go outside my brokerage also. And it's whatever is going to get it done and serve the client at the highest level, because I don't know everything.
It's funny, I just had this conversation today with my coach, and I said, I'm going to start putting a second agent on so that we can give that extra, the
care
value, so that agent's in charge of that client. Because there's agents that don't do the numbers I do or that you do, right? So they're thriving, they want part of that, right?
Yeah.
So
it's when you bring the lead. So Zillow right now, you're paying 40% for the lead by the time you run all your numbers on what it average costs you for the deal you close. So we've been encouraged to reconsider our standard 25% referral rate and just evaluate. Like, there's successful agents who, if they give an agent on their team an appointment, the agent only keeps 15%. And that's a famous agent in our area, and it's saying that they can keep their team fed. Because to me, that seems so constricting to why would somebody want to do that? But it's the business is the power. So if you're the agent that brings the opportunity, then the other agent needs to make sure that service experience is at the high level, or they're never on another opportunity. So you learn very quickly that you have agents giving you bandwidth and even teaching you strategies on how to better serve. So I actually reached outside of my brokerage and my team recently for a partnership on a deal where they made about $17,000 by the time I brought them in. And it was because I just couldn't take another call from that client. And I was heading towards an anniversary trip. And so I said, listen, of course they fell in love with the property the day before I left town, because that's how it always happens after showing them for 4 months. But we finally found them the portfolio builder they were looking for. And I just knew that this guy likes to call 9 p.m. every night and shoot the breeze for a solid 45 minutes. And I don't have that in me when I want to go celebrate my 17-year wedding anniversary. My goal was no calls. So I told him, I was like, you either get this closed by the time I come back and it's a 50-50, or I'm not doing any more work. Meaning that we're still going to split the commission, whatever it is, but you want to land this one because it's the right property for them. Keep the client out of his own way, keep the investors, keep everybody happy.
Right.
And if I come back to a closed sale, it's the best investment on the planet because I'd invested more in the vacation and a happy marriage.
Yeah.
But, and he got it done, and it wasn't an easy deal. And I got back into town and he's still fighting for his life to keep it going. And it got closed. And by the end, when it all settled,
you felt relief.
I felt great about that. I was like, I had a killer vacation. I drank champagne at reasonable hours versus before I implemented these models, I went to visit my sister in Japan. And all that meant is that I was working overnight because it was opposite hours. And so I would I zombied. By the time I got back from that trip, I was dead. I was dead on my feet because I just used the time zones and just didn't sleep.
Right.
So it's just a progression of realizing that you can buy back your time and getting really comfortable with it. And fortunately, you're the business owner, so you get to be comfortable, and you're like, no, this is what I'm paying for people. And instead of having the responsibility of a full-time assistant, because you're generous with your people, like you bring people on and you keep them. I've never hired an assistant. I'll do like an occasional intern, or I'll partner on projects, but I really don't want the sustained responsibility of having an employee. So I tend to lean on other professionals because we all go through business cycles. And there's always going to be an agent who just isn't as busy as they're comfortable with, but I know they're talented.
Right.
So it's like, come on in, work with me. And that's how I keep my freedom.
That's an awesome idea. So we're going to go to commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about how do you become the best mom that you can be?
Oh dear. You tell me.
Whether you're buying, selling, refinancing, or building your dream home, you have a lot riding on your loan specialist. Max Fish, a top 1% mortgage loan officer in the nation, will give you a same-day qualifying quote. Max Fish is committed to providing his customers with mortgage services that exceed their expectations, ensuring that you make the right choice for you and your family is his ultimate goal. Contact Max Fish today at 954-729-6933 or max.fisch@nwmcorp.net.
At JK Closing Attorneys, we do all of the same things that a title company does, but with the benefits of being a law office. We can help with residential real estate, short sales, commercial real estate, refinances, 1031 exchanges, and FRIPTA withholding.
Contact JK Closing Attorneys today at 954-332-3111. Again, that is 954-332-3111.
Priority One Credit Union of Florida is a welcoming credit union that makes your financial success our number one priority. We offer lower loan rates, higher deposit rates, and common sense local loan approvals, with nationwide access through shared branching.
Hi, I'm Dina Hennessy, President and CEO at Priority One Credit Union. We are open to the community. Anyone can be a member of our credit union, and we would love to have you.
Contact us today at 954-335-5100. You can also reach us at PriorityOneFL.org. Your financial success is our priority. That's 954-335-5100.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am Laura Sanders. So as a top agent in Broward, Palm Beach, and Dade County, and sometimes I go to Monroe sometimes, St. Lucie County.
You should probably start referring that.
Yeah, I have 2 listings in St. Lucie County right now. So that's probably why I feel like sometimes maybe I'm not the best mom. But I will tell you, I love my boys. I love cuddling with them. They don't want me to touch them anymore now that they're older, but I just, I'm always like, give mommy a hug, give mom, they're like, we're not calling you mommy. But yours is still little, so he's still like in that,
So we've implemented a couple strategies, and again, I was excited. It's a different time to be a mom. It's a lot easier, in my opinion, than it used to be, just based on. I watch a lot of thought leaders, and so we just started.
I thought you were gonna say Real Housewives of Georgia.
Oh God, no, I'm not that cool. I know nothing relevant to any kind of social media. I'm the last to figure that stuff out.
I doubt that, but okay.
But it was actually from a podcast because I was struggling with mommy guilt and not being present. And so I was doing some research on what does it really break down to? What are the memorable times that really matter when you're present with your kid? And they said it's if you can be present to say goodbye when they head off to school. It's that touch point around that breakfast time. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the back to school is really important too, who gets to be home for both? That sounds wild to me. Yeah. But you can replace that with a bedtime routine. And if you can get a meaningful conversation at the bedtime routine, when they've studied these relationships over the years, you tend to have a really healthy relationship at the end.
Interesting.
So we've replaced bedtime stories with what's the thing you're most grateful for today? Did you make anybody laugh? And then we tell them a legacy story about somebody in the family. Did you know one time your grandpa did this?
Oh.
Or my favorite story about the time your uncle got arrested was. But we're trying to give them a sense of identity through the family narrative.
Right.
But really it just becomes a back and forth conversation. So that's something we're working on really, really hard right now. Because they don't want to hang out with us. He's 11. He wants to play Fortnite.
That's just still a thing?
Yeah, for 11-year-olds, it's really big still.
Oh, okay. I thought that was done because my kids were done with it, but
no, now it's girls and hockey, right?
Yes. So yeah, I have one leaving for college, and I don't know how he'd feel about me coming up to have a legacy time upstairs.
I don't think that would go well with the teenager.
But I'm gonna try it.
I would ask him.
Usually when I sit down on his bed right next to him, he looks like, what? Can I help you? Do you need some help, lady?
I'm trying to get my little guy to think about the small things. And so that's why we started with the gratitude. But now I'm trying to get him to articulate why he's grateful for certain people and focus on the positives in people, because life can get a little overwhelming and it's not always easy to focus on why somebody is awesome. So I'm trying to teach him that self-talk right now.
Yeah. I would say though, for my children, right, that they realize that I've worked hard for them. So that is true. But one time when they were little, one of them said to me, I was I was shocked. I was number 4 in the in Florida, and in the entire state of Florida for RE/MAX. And my son said, well, why aren't you number 1, Mom?
Lane says that to me all the time. But are you the biggest boss?
Yeah.
No, baby.
Yeah. And I said to him, would you like to ever see me again? And I think they were like, well, I don't know, you can make us clean our room, but my son leaves next week to go to college, my oldest. And you still remember laying in bed with them. So I think the show for me is more to tell moms, right? Yeah. And even dads sometimes, right? But moms mostly, kiss your kids, hug your kids, listen to them. One of the things I am better at, hands down, I used to scream all the time.
We're stressed? You stopped screaming?
What it was,
prove it.
Yeah, no, what I mean when I say stop, I'm not talking about it, my assistants and stuff. I'm talking about my
your
kid.
children, okay.
When you're busy and you're feeling overwhelmed with work, what's the one thing that usually happens? A kid starts to talk when you're in the middle of doing that and you're like, I can't do that right now.
Right now. Yeah,
right.
We've all been there.
I don't do that anymore.
That's amazing. How'd you stop?
Realizing that I wasn't completely present for them, and that eventually they're not going to come and talk to me anymore.
That's scary.
So, right. So when the laundry's gone, guess what? They're gone.
Yeah.
So if you complain about all the laundry, so I don't complain about the laundry. I don't complain that they don't put it away. I don't, I just don't. I say when that's gone, they're gone. And I didn't listen because I married a man that had 3 kids. And we had 2 together. And now those 2 are getting ready to leave. And he kept telling me, Laura, you're going to regret this. Laura, they're going to be gone before you know it. Laura, they're going to be grown up. And unfortunately, it's always somebody else's little red wagon. You can't help them. You can tell people. So when you said to me, well, you told me that I needed to, and I was like, really? You really listened to me? Like, you really did it because it's me? Like, because I said it? Or are you just,
Well, because you're arguably the most successful person in our industry, and if there's something that you're cautioning me about, maybe pay attention.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems wise.
So I had a girl the other day say to me that she wanted all these different things with real estate. And I said to her, I just want to tell you one thing. Be very careful what you ask for and what you think you're asking for. Now, there's some successful people in the industry, and they do okay, that have made changes in their business plan, like they don't take listings under $700,000.
Yeah.
My thing is that my business plan has to be, I want to work with you.
Which is beautiful because then you actually enjoy showing up for people.
Right.
The problem is you tend to find the positive in a lot of people, so who do you say no to, Laura?
Right, and so that is the problem. So let's talk about that problem, right? So what frustrates me, and I don't care if everybody hears this because this is where I'm not posting on my Facebook, but people need to understand, when you come in and clean their house, when you're ready for pictures, because they don't have it ready, even though you've told them, you've given them a checklist.
Yeah.
And it's almost, in a sense, a disrespect of your time.
Yep.
Right? So then when they are mad because their home's not showing well and you've told them what to do,
Yeah.
I'm very straight out. I'm telling you, hey, we can't show it like this.
Yeah.
I can totally Photoshop these pictures. I can empty the damn room out.
Still gonna smell like a cat.
Right?
What do you do?
Or it's going to look like a mess.
Yeah.
And you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the thing is that unfortunately sometimes you don't know those things are going to happen till you've already signed the papers.
100%.
So I guess, since you're a broker, right?
Yeah.
You're also like a trainer.
Yeah.
So what would you say?
Okay, so this is actually, you're speaking my love language right now. Everybody's familiar with the SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's a business metric to decide how healthy your business is. I've transitioned it for real estate use where I encourage our agents to SWOT every deal because they are their own employee. And strengths is what about it did you enjoy? Weaknesses are what made you want to quit. Opportunities are what got you more business and referrals. Threats would have anything gotten you fired. So in the instance where
I'm telling you your house is dirty.
Well, yeah. So if your house sits on the market, naturally they're never going to take personal responsibility. That is not a human characteristic where somebody's going to be like, I must have a messy house. No, their house is the best no matter what. It's you did not sell my house. There's always going to be that disconnect. So
I have this going on right now.
So when you do the SWOT on your business, it's what system can I put in place based on this deal so that I never find myself in this position again.
So dirty house.
I'm currently redoing our listing book, and what we have is the first cleaning is on us. And that's a gift that when these are the services
But what if their house needs a cleaning of $1,000?
So it's, we make them leave the town for the first weekend. So it's usually commiserate with the fact that they're getting out and I can front load showings on that weekend. And I do have cleaners that I supply enough business where I've negotiated rates. The most expensive one I ever had was $700 and it stunk. I didn't love paying that, but it needed it and I sold the house a lot faster. But then the expectation is once I've set this standard, if you want this as a recurring service while you have my employee, I will pay for it for you because I don't expect sellers to come out of pocket during the process. They're looking to find another home. People just don't have tons of money. But it will get reimbursed past close, or you could just maintain it. Because we've walked into listings where they've let their animals make messes on the floors. I had a house where after paying $800 to pressure wash, clean, make everything perfect, the morning of photos, she had let her children chalk draw the whole driveway. And so it's like, it's common. But that's what made me realize of, we're now going to add the clause to my preparation of, if you bring it under this standard, I have no problem paying to make it right, but the expense will be shifted to you out of closing.
Oh, wow.
And if they fire me, the reimbursement isn't the cost, it's 120%, because they turned me into a maid broker or a contractor.
Oh, wow.
And so I never get fired because it would cost them too much money by the time they've utilized all my services.
So can you believe this? So we could talk and talk and talk. You're not going to believe this when I tell you this. We have gone for half an hour.
Already?
It is over.
Okay.
So I want to thank everybody for listening to Ashley and I. We could totally do this again, because I feel like you're actually giving little tidbits, like it's almost like a little coaching thing that I think is great. So we're going to have Ashley back again. Please. And I want to thank her so much for being on Making Money with Laura Sanders. Until next week, thank you for listening.